yet? I hope you can hear me over the fan. Sorry. Uh, well, I would not be telling the truth if I said uh, Aaron is about to start school and I'm a little unsettled. um, but the reason why is not because I'm not excited for him to start school, not because like he's going on to his next experience, but it's the first time I sent a child to school. I was there for Jeremiah's first day, but it wasn't the same because Jeremiah and I have been separated for like, I think at the point that he went to school, we had been separated for a little over a year. So I wasn't there for Tanya's first day. In fact, on Tanya's first day, I was with Nelly, our client. Real upset about that. But I get to send Aaron to school, and I don't know, like, normal mom worries are keeping me up at night. I know he's going to be fine. I know he's going to be just fine. But the day is drawing closer, and I'm like, I'm going to be by myself all day. What am I going to do? I already know what I'm about to do, but, you know, how is that going to go? you know. How's he going to do? Are they going to call me with him crying, talking about how bad he wants to be with his mom all day? So I had a little cry about it. I'm very emotional. Yeah, it's a little I'm feeling a little about my baby going to school. The baby. Not just my baby, the baby. The last little baby is going to school. So I'm not asleep yet. Actually, I had something else I wanted to talk about, but that's literally the first thing, the actual reason why I'm up. I've been up like this, like for a week, because it's coming. I'm like, first I had a little bit of apprehension because I didn't really have everything I needed. Everything you needed finally made it in the mail. So I'm fine about that. Again, things I couldn't have gotten without her help. Like if I already know what it looks like to not have her around, you know what I'm saying? It's no toilet paper, it's no soap, it's things that are essential, and I already spent a summer like that. Like, how many more summers do I need to spend like that? Luckily it wasn't this summer, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying my best to hang in there. It's gotta be over eventually. And they're not gonna make me live like this forever, are they? How much longer? I was sitting like, how much longer? Because I'm trying to do stuff and it's just not working out. And I know it's not me. These types of things, like, I know it's not me, but it certainly feels like it sometimes. It's like you sit and you question, like, what did I do? I listen, I do what you tell me to do. What did I do? I must have done something wrong because everything I'm trying is not working out. Like, you really want me to live with nothing? I'm like I try my best not to be stressed, but those days come. And they always come around the moon cycle, but for the most part, I don't think about it. But now that he's going to school, like it's the thought process of what are you going to do? Like you have to do something. School costs money. Like school is free, but it costs money. He's going to need clothes, and like he's not going to be able to wear his same little shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things, there's expenses in order to keep a child in school looking healthy. And like I can't work part time. My rent goes up, and I have 28. Oh, it's over $3,000 now. I'm $3,000 behind in child support. Like I'm just sitting here and I'm talking about these woes. These are woes, and like certain things need to be done that people are refusing to help me with, and I'm like, why? Why are you doing this to me? I know why you're doing it. I already know. It's a redundant question, but it's just like how much more patience, God and gods of this domain, would you like me to have? Try not to worry, but tonight I'm definitely kept up by some worries. And usually I would watch Patrick Clown stream arcade, but that's not. I don't think he's able to do that. So now I'm just like sitting here. I try to avoid Tarot at night. It's like if we fall asleep to that, you never know. And I also, there's another thing I avoid. I don't like listening to certain sounds and things like that at night. Because if you are asleep, you do not know when that vibration changes, right? It doesn't mean that the reader is low vibrational. I trust the readers that I watch. But the problem is, if a reading is getting a little intense and you're watching that, like you're not watching it, but you're listening to it while you're asleep, it can be very dangerous for you. You know what I'm saying? I learned that like pretty early on. I had to end up turning my autoplay off as well to make sure that I don't even want it to do that during the day. Like to just go into an energy that I did not select can be like really detrimental, especially if you're sleeping. Because, and I'll tell you exactly what happened when I learned not to do that. Like I would fall asleep to tarot. This is like 2021. I would fall asleep to tarot. Excuse me. And it would be on autoplay. Okay. One day I wake up to just keep swimming 11:11, something like that. And she was cussing, and it's not the cussing. Okay, we just had a whole day about the cussing, but it seemed very personal. And she was talking about how someone was so disrespectful, and the energy just did not sit with me, right? So I'm like, oh, you can't go to sleep with that because you don't. And I'm looking and I could see like all the readings I went through were definitely people that I didn't watch. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know how I came across her. And then the other one I didn't like fall asleep to was Star Moon Angel. I think she's an 11:11 too. You know, and this isn't about like saying these are bad readers. That's not it. It's just there's a particular energy that they were in at the time that I found to be very like detrimental to my health. And I could feel that energy in my sleep and shit. It was just like, oh yeah, no, you can't go to sleep with tarot. That's not how shit works. So, by the way, that was 939. Let's see what 939 says, okay? I cannot believe it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh my god. Well, must be getting that one a lot. Powerful energies of positivity and abundance, encouraging us to have a positive attitude, trust in the universal spiritual laws, and take steps towards our spiritual path. It is a reminder from the divine realm that now is the right time for us to manifest abundance into our lives. Yeah. Some shit fucking done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm just trying to put my worries down. I'm only getting worried because I'm having trouble figuring out, okay, I gotta work. I need to at least have a high paying job. Okay, there's only so high I can go with my job. my my job history. There's only so much I can do. There's only so far I can go. So, figure it out. I will figure it out. I don't know. I always do. It's just when I'm thinking of what uh, duties and responsibilities I have, it has to be right. It has to be right. Like, I think the biggest frustration is to have gone through all of this and have a similar situation where everything it's not sustainable. Like, I get a job, they raise my rent, I don't have food. Like, I'm scared. I am scared of it right now. When you owe child support, like as much as I owe right now, they take extra, right? So they are going to hit me multiple times a month. And like, I don't want to be working in vain. Like, I don't want to go to work. Like, I can see my previous situations happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go to work, now I have to pay child support, and they're gonna cut my food, and they're gonna raise my rent, and I'm going to be starving and making sure that my son eats. Like, I don't want to go, but I see it because the only way that I'm going to be able to work is if I work part-time. I have to get Aaron off the bus. They do not account for child support. And I just wonder why this loop keeps happening. Like, when I did everything they told me to do, what is the shit going to end? So then, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the mention of other people having their perspective of what they think I was doing wrong. And I happen to know two things that, actually three complaints that everyone had about me. One was that I would show up to their house unannounced. And so that would be in line with someone who does not respect other people's boundaries. And the other was that when I talked to people, I always talked to them about who I was into at the time. And the third one is, when I was working at an insurance company, one of my cousins tried to get a job there, and something happened. So I want to talk about these three things, because I feel like people keep trying to justify the shit that they did, and it just still wouldn't make sense. So when my cousin moved out the house, when she moved, she did not change her address because she wanted to keep her kids in that school district. Okay, but as a result of that, it kept her getting food stamps, and it kept me getting food stamps. But as if we were living together. So I wasn't getting the amount that I needed to get in order to survive. On top of her having moved and left the bills in disconnect. Okay, so I'm in a serious financial bind as a result of her choices. Okay, so I didn't initially, well, I had done it before, but I had increased the amounts of times that I would go to visit other people because I needed food. But instead of saying that, um, like, I just go over there. They weren't answering my phone calls. I'm in dire need of help. This wasn't about like trying to like overstep boundaries. I was in dire need of help. So I was just showing up. So I need to feed my kids. I'm hungry. We're hungry. We don't have no food. This bitch wants to be selfish. She is in a everybody is in a 2-person household but me. You won't change your address so I can get the full amount of food stamps. And then you sit here and you act like I'm like trying to be rude to you because I need food. Okay. So then the next thing that they had a qualm about is I would talk about the person I was dating. I found that to be better than what they would do, which is talk about people we don't know. They love gossip so much, they found out how to scam gossip in the city, right? And they would be sitting there and talking about celebrities and like invested in their lives, and I just didn't find that to be interesting. So I just talked about the person I was dating because that's literally the only thing I did outside of reading. And what I was reading about, they didn't ever show any interest. And I've actually mentioned that before. Like, I would they would talk, and I would like, maybe we'd watch Love and Hip Hop together and stuff, right? But after that, I don't have any interest in talking about it. It's just it's a reality TV show, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not that invested. So instead of like talking about the things that I know and that I talk about, I'll just talk about the person I'm dating because that seems more realistic than what we're talking about. But apparently, that annoyed them. They were annoyed with me when at least I'm talking about somebody I know. It's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll call them often. You know what I'm saying? But they were my friends. It's like my sister had a friend and they did everything together. They talked on the phone all the time, all that stuff. I didn't have a friend because I was stuck in a house with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody watched my kids. The only time people watch my children really is when we live together. If we don't live together, they did not ever bother to watch my children. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I lived by myself, I would just like, I would call them a lot, or because they were my friends. That may be irritating to you or overstepping boundaries, but I didn't see it that way because that's how friends are supposed to act. You know what I'm saying? So again, that is something that I could see you being upset with me about. But again, it still doesn't, none of these things justify like doing anything to me. Like, that would be you living in anger, right? So then, the last thing is my cousin tried to get a job at my new job. That shit's so fucked up on so many levels. Okay, so I was working at Burger King. When I was working at Burger King, I found out that my manager was friends with the neighbor, like the when they were growing up, not currently, but when they were growing up and going to school, her neighbor was my cousin. I call her, okay, Patrice, her cousin, which we actually call cousin. Her cousin, my cousin, they were neighbors. So all these people knew of me, but I didn't know that at the time, right? So my manager at Burger King, when I first get there, I'm there probably like 2-3 weeks. She told me she was going to give me a promotion. I'm like, dope, because I could really use that. Okay, I'm going through some financial shit. I could really use that. As time goes by, she keeps hiring other people for management, and I keep asking her, like, I thought you were gonna give it to me. Oh no, you need to do more. You need to learn more. You need to do this. But one day I didn't show up, and so when I didn't show up, she gave me a raise from uh, $9 to $9.30. Because she said she realized how much I do there, but she still will not give me the promotion. Okay. Um, Come to find out, this is because she had heard things about me, and so she was just being malicious, right? So my last day there, the district manager comes in and he tells me, I want you to be a manager. Would you mind? Would you like that position? I'm gonna pay you X amount of dollars. But then his last thing that he says to me is that I've been telling her for the last 3 months to give you the promotion, and I'm not sure why she hasn't done it. For 3 months. For 3 months, she said. Oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. Okay, so I go on. I never come back. I know it's not necessarily the best thing to do, but I did not go back. I was pissed. Okay, but this very same week is when I got my original birth certificate. All right, so as soon as I got my birth certificate, Natanya and I sit on the floor and we decided to chant about the browns and the colors, and the wind starts blowing and the trees start blowing. And as soon as we stop, so does everything else, and that's when I knew that ancestors were real. Okay, so these things happen for a reason. So as soon as I did that, that was on a Saturday. On Monday, I got offered this wonderful position. Okay, it was wonderful. And I go to work, and they talk about this company is like a family. They like to hire family, right? So I'm excited about that. My cousin wants to get a job there. I go to my manager, and I'm asking him, like, you're supposed to tell the manager who your family member is, and yada yada. I did it. So then she keeps asking me about it, and I'm like, yeah, I told him, I told him. So then she's supposed to take like a test or something to that nature, and she asked me one of the questions on the test. Now, I had the person in mind that I would ask. I know that person kept suggesting that I apply for the same position. So I knew I wanted to ask her, but she never showed up to work. This woman was never there, and I was kind of like her secretary, kind of. We worked in the same department, and I had a specific job task that I did, and if they couldn't talk to her, they would talk to me, but I'm not an adjuster. I'm just the person processing certain things, so I can't do anything. And this woman would never be there. I would be getting yelled at and cussed at all the time because she was never there. Neither here or there. She was a wonderful person. And she, at that time, she was actually going through an awakening. So I understood why she wasn't really, like, interested in work at the time. Because when you awaken, you do have, like, this kind of, like, a job? That's a construct, So I wanted to ask her, but she wasn't showing up to work. So I decided I was going to ask this other chick. And we had hung out a couple times, actually one time. But I didn't really, she's one of them people, okay? She's just one of them people, all right? She was cool, but she had an energy. So I asked her, and she gives me the answer. I never told her it was for my cousin. Hey, this question on this application, what is the answer, right? She gives me the answer. I give it to my cousin. My cousin had a friend who was also an adjuster, and she gave her the answer, and it was two different answers, and my answer was wrong. Now, I know, and also the manager still hadn't pulled her up. It was her friend that was able to get her in. And this was very important, because with all that happening, you would think I was the one behind all that, right? But I wasn't, because here's what happened. There was another manager at Burger King. My new manager at my new job was that manager's brother. So if the old manager who was supposed to give me a promotion was talking shit or doing anything nefarious and malicious against me, and he and haha with that manager is now sharing that with her brother. So if I say, hey, this is my family member, well, if you're spreading any seeds about me, now you are guilty by association and you can't be hired. So y'all's gossip, because it was y'all's gossip ended up coming back around and stopping you and blocking you via me. If you're blocking me and you're keeping me from being able to progress, it officially affects you. Your friend, when she suggested it, well, nobody's talking shit about her, so of course it went through faster for her. Okay? She got the right answer. There's somebody beside me that didn't like me, apparently, and didn't want me to succeed, apparently. So then when I give you the answer, I look like I'm the one blocking you when I'm not. So you have all these like things and these little qualms with me. I don't know why this word is being used. And I can see your perspective. But to go back to this morning's message, all that you did because you were angry at me is sinful. If you think you're going to block me from a job now because you thought I blocked you, but you never talked to me about it, you would have known that. Because I found out very quickly. I was friends with these two managers at Burger King, and shortly after that happened, he had a birthday, and that's how I found out they were brother and sister. The two of them have went to school together, and those two went to school with the cousin. So they were all friends as well, like on Facebook. So I'm sitting here and okay. Now this is years old, but this specific thing was brought up during this little disagreement. Well, don't you think they have a perspective? And I knew exactly what perspective it was, because it was brought up in Terrell, because y'all was actively speaking your grievances with me through the Terrell. I come over to your house unannounced, but it's because I'm starving and you're not answering the phone. Me and my kids are starving and you're not answering the phone. You talk about your man too much. It's like, but it's because what you want to talk about isn't realistic. And now I'm on this internet talking about the things that I was doing, and I was learning that you would, like, if you would honestly admit it, you would have never been interested in talking about it with me. No, I didn't. Their slander came back around and bit them in the ass. That's all. So, I know y'all be watching. Y'all act like you don't, but y'all be watching. Those are the answers. And regardless of if I did that never warranted you treating me the way you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. Because this conversation started. I'm gonna tell you how the conversation started, because she said, I don't remember which one, but one of your cousins said they miss you. And I said, and they will continue to miss me for the rest of their lives, because they made their choices. No matter what your perspective is and what you think that I did to you, especially you, okay? I paid you back. I was constantly apologizing to you, being truthful with you. I made sure to be respectful and do certain things to let you know that I wasn't going to betray your trust. And if you decided that I deserved revenge after I was still doing things to make it right, like, how could I ever possibly trust you again in your life? Especially if you said, I forgive you. If you were like, I'm sorry, Ashley, I can't forgive you, it would have been a lot more, um, like, not as shocking to know that you were betraying me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you said you forgave me. You told me you forgave me. You told me it was okay. You told me I was your only friend. And then you participated in sabotage. The other one, literally, the only thing that you could ever say that I did to you, oh, there was this one time, I was, you said let's smoke, and I said okay, and then I tried to invite my friend over with me, and you said no. But that's more of like a faux pas. It's not like a betrayal or anything, and you said no. I said, oh, my bad, and I just went on with life. Like, if you thought that was some type of infraction that deserved revenge, like, what? And if you thought that I kept you from getting a job and you didn't like discuss it with me, then again, anything that you did or like blocking me from getting a job and certain things, it still wouldn't be warranted. And you, Miss Lady, okay, the one that had the friends with the managers and y'all all went to school together and stuff, like literally never did anything to you at all. Like, or anything that you could confuse or like literally could not confuse anything that I did as like malicious at all. Like, there's literally nothing that I did to you at all. So to be like, oh, I miss you, I'm sorry, it's like, okay, but I could never really trust you again. It's a really unfortunate thing. But what I have said was, like, you know, that saying, like, with friends like these who need enemies, it's like to the maximum degree because you were my friends. I didn't have any friends. You were my friends and my family. You were my FOEs. Family over everything. My ABCs, my ace and queens. Okay? I adored you all. Oh, and another thing that, for the one that thinks I blocked her job, I also didn't share her post about eyelashes and stuff, but I only had 175 friends, and I was very aware that none of them would be interested in your product. So it was kind of wasteful to do it. She was selling lashes. You know what I'm saying? Literally, the 175 people, majority of them were men. That's the first thing. And then the other group of people, we are very like this. We're not. That's not. It's wasteful. It wasn't trying to block you or anything. It was just wasteful. Like, I literally only had 175 friends, all of which were y'all. So why would I share it to the people that have already seen it, because they're all friends with you? Like, literally, they're your friends. But most of the people that were in my list were family members, a few people from high school, and your friends. Like, oh yeah, we hung out before, you know, whatever. So I'm friends with your friends. Your friends have already seen your post. Like, redundant. The only time that would have made sense is once I had 2,000 friends, but by that point, we weren't friends anymore. So I wouldn't have been able to share your shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just there's literally nothing that I did that actually warrants your revenge. Your perspective, though it be your perspective, doesn't mean that it's right. If you think that I blocked you from a job, well, I'm telling you right now exactly what the case was. You know? And now that you have that perspective, how do you feel? I'm gonna have to go to bed now because we have things to do tomorrow. But I want y'all to think on that.